Hi there. We're on day 126 of our Through the New Testament in 1 year. Today we are finishing up the book of Luke 23, chapter 23. This is the sad part, the heavy part, right? Where Jesus was crucified just for us, right? Hey. And as they led him away, they seized one Simon of Cyrene who was coming in from the country and laid on him the cross to carry it behind Jesus. And there followed him a great multitude of the people of the women who were mourning and lamenting for him. But turning to them, Jesus said, Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For behold, the days are coming when they will say, Blessed are the barren and the wombs that never bore them, and the breasts that never nursed. They will begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills, cover us, for they do these things. For if they do these things when the wood is green, what will happen when it is dry? Now that's right out of Revelations, okay? Two others who were criminals were led away to be put to death with him. And when they came to the place called the Skull, Golgotha, right, they were crucified. They crucified him and the criminals, one on his right and one on his left. And Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they cast lots to divide his garments. And the people stood by watching, but the rulers scoffed at him, saying, He saved others, let him save himself. If he is the Christ of God, his chosen one. Scoffers, right? The soldiers also mocked him, coming up and offering him sour wine, and saying, If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself. There was also an inscription over him, This is the king of the Jews. Right? One of the criminals who were hanged rallied at him, saying, Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us. But the other rebuked him, saying, Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence for condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we are receiving the due reward for our deeds, but this man has done nothing wrong. And he said, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And he said to him, Truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. Okay? Now, I think paradise was a waiting area down there. There was Sheol on the one side, and there was paradise, and they were separated by a chasm. And all the ones, heaven's not ready, so all the ones who are ready were in paradise. Okay, all the prophets and the people who were honored by God. The death of Jesus. It was now about the 6th hour, as you know, noon, right? And there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour. Okay, and that would be about 3 o'clock, right? 3 p.m. While the sun's light failed, and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Now, that's very significant. We'll talk about that, right? Then Jesus, calling out with a loud voice, saying, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. And having said this, he breathed his last. Now, when the centurion saw what had taken place, he praised God, saying, Certainly this man was innocent. And all the crowds that had assembled for the spectacle, when they saw what had taken place, returned home beating their breast. And all his acquaintances and the women who followed him from Galilee stood at a distance watching these things. Right? Jesus is buried. Now there was a man named Joseph from the Jewish town of Arimathea. He was a member of the council and a good and righteous man who had not consented to their decision and action. He was looking for the kingdom of God. This man went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Then he took it down and wrapped it in a linen shroud and laid him in a tomb cut in stone, where no one had ever been laid. It was the day of preparation, and the Sabbath was beginning. The women who had come with him from Galilee followed and saw that the tomb and how his body was laid. Then they returned and prepared spices and ointments. On the Sabbath they rested according to the commandment. So there you go. Now he's died and laid in the tomb for 3 days. Okay. Now the Jewish day started at sundown the previous day. Okay. Which this would have happened on a Thursday. Okay. So on Thursday evening he was dead. Friday evening, Saturday evening, 3 nights, was raised on the 3rd day. Okay. Now they were talking about this up here. Gotta find it again. Down here, huh? Curtain of the temple was torn in two. Okay. Now the curtain, a small room, and they used to house the Ark of the Covenant in there. All right, called the Holy of Holies. No one was allowed in there except the high priest at the time. And even they would tie a rope around his waist because he could not go in there and get him if he died. And they would have to drag him out. No one was allowed in the presence of God. Okay. By the temple curtain being torn in two. And just to note, this temple was terrible. Okay. It was it was made out of felt, and it was probably about a foot thick. Okay. It took a whole team of guys to open it just enough to let the high priest through. And it was tall, and it was very heavy, and it was very thick, not something that would tear. Okay. This is not something that could be torn. Okay. It would have to be sawn in half with great care, and it'd take a long time. It was torn in two. Opened the Holy of Holies, giving everybody access to God through Jesus. Okay. That's a very important thing. Okay. And it did say on this one where he quoted Psalm 22, my God, why have thou forsaken me? The other Gospels do say that. I believe you have to take all the Gospels together, they're different witness accounts, and put them all together to get the complete story, okay? So, and this is the third. All right? So, Jesus is buried. All right? And tomorrow we will find out the good news, right? The resurrection. Okay, it's chapter 24 tomorrow. Looking forward to that. So there you go. That's day 126. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, we're just about through. 24 is the last chapter in Luke, and then we'll start John. That's an exciting book. I love that one. Okay, because of all the stuff that tells you who Jesus really is, right? From the very first chapter in the first verse. So we'll get to that. But catch up on any you may have missed. So you can keep up with us. These are short videos, so they're easy to watch. And give us a like if you think about it. And tomorrow we'll continue. See you then.